Mark Purdy is our Chief Fact-Finding Officer at San Jose Rocks. You know Mark from Mercury News. I can say this in all confidence. No one has researched more about what happened leading up to and on December 4, 1965 than this man. And we're still uncovering information about what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Purdy.
Thanks. Hello again, true believers and fellow travelers. So Dan has amazing energy and has and we made a connection, and Dan started this great organization, San Jose Rocks, and asked me to help them uncover information about San Jose's rock and roll history, which is amazing history that most people don't know about, including the fact that you're sitting 10 blocks from the site where the Grateful Dead played its first ever show. I asked the first set how many people knew that, and one person held up his hand. And this is why we want to do what we're doing, so that more people know this. And so it was that in 1965, things were starting to get really groovy, right? And Kesey decides, I've got this substance, LSD, which was then legal, that he first took as part of experiments at Agnew's. And now he wants to maximize LSD everywhere. So he decides, I want to do these public acid tests and have people in and do wacky, crazy things. So where's he going to do that? Well, he finds out that on December 4th, 1965, the Rolling Stones are playing a show at the San Jose Civic Auditorium on one of their first tours of America. Kesey gets the idea, well, that would be a great way to gather people to come to one of my acid tests. And so he arranges to procure a house that night in downtown San Jose. And he sends his pranksters, the merry pranksters, in their further school bus to the steps of the San Jose Civic Auditorium and hands out flyers that say, can you pass the acid test? Kesey also needs a band that night. Who does he decide to call? His friends from Menlo Park and Palo Alto, who had been previously playing under different names. A number of them played in a band called Mother McCree's Jugtown Champions at the offstage, and then changed their name to the Warlocks for a while, right? And just before then, so a week or two earlier, they decided, you know what? We don't like the Warlocks name. What do we want to call ourselves? Different versions about how they came up with it, but they said, no, we're going to be called the Grateful Dead. And Kesey calls them up and says, can you come to this acid test and play for us? And it's the Grateful Dead. And they said, sure. So on the night of December 4th, it all happens. The Rolling Stones are playing a show at the Civic. The pranksters hand out these flyers that say, can you pass the acid test? Come to this house. They put up posters. Can you come to this house? Can you pass the acid test? Is what the posters say. And Kesey arranges for this house. He goes inside and paints wild stuff, sets up lights and craziness, and the Dead come in and play their first ever show as the Grateful Dead on that site. All right? All right? And my friend Dan is now going to tell you about how you can help with that. Because as I remember, I said we promised we'd raise the money privately. So here's Dan to talk about that. But that's the story. It's a hell of a story. Wouldn't you agree?
Real quickly, thank you very much, Mark. Been with this guy on this journey for 22 years. 22 years, 2003. In any event, this is San Jose Rocks' first of 30 projects we have planned in downtown San Jose for the next over the next 3 years, celebrating Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, the Smothers Brothers, the offstage where Yorma and Joan Baez and Jerry Garcia played and taught guitar. In any event, how you can participate, this has to be privately raised. The city's putting up no money. And so what we did, thanks to a venture capital friend of ours who introduced us to Stanley Mouse. Stanley Mouse designed this commemorative poster, which we're going to be offering in handbills for $124.25, 12 or 65. ever slightly more, you can get an autographed version of the full-size poster. It's $35. Anyway, that's enough of your time. SanJoseRocks.org. Thank you very much, and thank you, Jay, for inviting us in. Thank you guys in the band.